man, look at that. One cattail left right there, Nick. Here, hold this. Fumbling with my machete getting it out. Man, that sure is snaky back in there. Alright, now I was tagged, I'm gathering everything up that I need, and I was tagged by No BS Survival. And I was tagged for, hold on, let me put this back in the sheet. Ooh, got the fuzzies everywhere. Alright, I was tagged by No BS Survival to do 1 spark fire, okay? Now everybody knows that whenever you're using a tinder and a ferro rod, you don't always get it on the first try. Sometimes you get it on the 5th try, sometimes the 10th try. So what this tag is to try to get it on the first try with all natural materials, all natural tinder that you find in the woods, and to boil some water, okay? Does that sound pretty simple, Nick?
Yeah.
Alright, it ain't simple. A lot of it has got to do with, you got to have pretty good technique with your ferro rod, but a lot of it's got to do with your choice of tinder. And thank goodness this is the last of last year's cattail that I found in that snake infested creek right over there. So I'm gonna gather up a few more things. I'm gonna talk a little bit about tinder, and then I'm gonna try the 1 spark fire. Alright, now this kind of vine here, these old brown vines, I don't really care for them that much for tinder. These other kind right here, these things make great tinder bundles right here. And all you got to do with them is you just kind of scrape some of this stuff off of it. It takes a little while, but this stuff right here, this old light, dry, flaky stuff, there's some good stuff right there. See this right here? Just kind of scrape the outside of it off. I'm gonna gather up a bunch of that right there and put it in my pocket. Alright, now I'm gonna make some pine needle tea. So the absolute best pine needle tea is made out of the young pine needles, and you want to get them right off the tree if you can. Just grab you a couple of handfuls of them. I'm gonna gather up a bunch of green needles, just like that right there. We're gonna have Nick's favorite pine needle tea. Ain't that your favorite?
Yes, it is.
Alright. Alright, I got everything. I got some old broken up dried vines. And I got some old, I guess it's called sawgrass or field grass. And then I got me a cattail. And I got me some pine needle, green pine needles for Nick's tea. You love that tea, don't you? Alright, then I got me some vines in my pocket. Alright, now, let's see. We'll lay all that right there. Now, let's see what we got in the bag right here. Let's see. Got my canteen. Alright, I'll show you a few other things too before I get this thing set up before I do the fire. I have a little connector that I think is neat. Well, I make these little connectors, and you can make them out of wood, or you can make them out of plastic, you can make them out of whatever. But what they are is, I take a piece of plastic and I drill 3 small holes in it, and then I saw this out, this side, this side, this side, and then this side with a big hole in the middle. And I'll show you how that works, okay? What I'm gonna do is I got it on a paracord, okay? I'm gonna throw it on this tree limb over here. Oh. Alright, I had to give up on throwing it up over that tree limb because when I finally got it on it, it broke. So I just put a line right here from tree to tree, and I got my paracord and my hook on here. So Here, bring that in. Pull that whole thing in here closer. Get that in there. I want to show them how this thing works. Here, get right up on this thing. Okay? Now, the way this thing right here works, I'll undo it. Okay, but remember I showed you it had 3 holes with a big hole and it's got cutouts. Okay, so what you do is you loop it through one, loop it through another, and then you loop it back through the last one. Okay, that way this thing will slide up and down. See, easily adjustable. But as soon as you pull this and you lock it back into this, pull it back through like that, it locks into place. Okay, now what I got here is my water bottle. Okay, about halfway full of water. I'll take the cup off of it, and my friend Hillbillys, let's see, yeah, HillbillysNdabush, he made one of these things right here out of a TIG rod. And what that is it's a handle for a bottle like this. Now, I thought I'd seen the idea before, but I never got around to making one. Never really thought about it because I thought it was like spring stew. Okay, so what I do now is I just put this on here and I hang it right over there, and now I can see where I can where I'm going to be able to build my fire. So what I start doing now is I'm going to start laying a bed right here of branches and stuff. Right here under where this is going to be. Okay, so I'm gonna gather up a little pile of wood here, and then I'll get back with you on, we'll start processing the tinder. Alright, what I got now is I got my fire directly underneath this bottle here, so now what I got to do is I got to worry about getting me up a tinder bundle. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this because I know it's centered up, and I'm going to set that bottle to the side, and I'm going to show you a few tricks. I'm going to show you a few tricks for my getting tinder, and using a knife and a machete for getting tinder. So, because the cattail, you just pull it apart. Alright, let's head over here for a minute. Alright, now what I'm going to do right here is sometimes if you have an exposed tree root, it'll come in handy for certain things, and I'll show you why. Okay, what you do is you want to cut off a piece. Dang, some tough stuff right there. Alright, you want to cut off a piece and you want to remove some of that bark. Okay, now these knives, I've heard on all the forums and a lot of video reviews that people don't like the serrations. Okay, well, there's something you can do with those serrations. What you do, stab it into a tree, and then you can take this right here. Okay, oh, I forgot the most important part. Take you a old do-rag, okay, lay it under it. Alright. And see, that's a good thing right there. See right here? You get a bunch of nice and fluffy dust. You can just do that for a while and get a big pile. Now a ferro rod will take that, but it may not be on the first try, so I'm going to use a cattail. Alright. And see, that's a good thing right there. Alright. Now, oh man, look at this, Nick. Oh. Look at this. This is the kind of stuff we have to deal with in Georgia. See right here how high them thorns are? They stick out as much as your finger. Now that's a thorn right there. Hate them things, are everywhere. Alright, now you want to take a kind of a bigger tree, bigger branch. There we go. Get rid of some of that bark off the top. Alright. Now another neat little trick you can do, shine it over here. You can put one end of it, wait a minute, put down your do-rag, okay? Lay down a do-rag, or cloth or whatever, and put that right there, okay? And then you want to take your foot and you want to shove your foot up against it right there, and you want to wedge it against a tree, okay? Now, the back side of this machete right here has got saw teeth. A lot of people say that's useless too, but what you do is you hold the blade and you do this right here. And you can even change directions. Alright. Alright. And then you got your nice water shavings right there, and if you do that long enough, then that right there you can put on the tinder bundle too, and that'll catch fire. You do this right here. You can even change directions. Alright. Alright, what I got now is I got my do-rag right there with a little bit of dust on it. Well, a bunch of dust, okay? Now, I'm going to take half of this grass, half of this dried grass right here, okay? I'm going to kind of curl it up into a nest, okay? Alright, I'm going to set it right there on top, okay? Now, I'm going to take my cattail, I'm going to break off the top, alright? Now all this loose stuff on the outside right here I'm going to save. I'm going to set it to the side. Because there's a thing about it. With this right here, with sawdust and with grass, you're kind of fighting to get it to spark. But with the cattail, dry cattail, you ain't fighting at all. It is going to go up like gas. And the thing is once it goes up into gas, you're going to have flame. And with that flame, it's going to make it a lot easier to get your fire going. Okay? Now, I'm getting all this loose stuff over here ready. Okay? Alright, that's about all the loose stuff right there that I need to get. Now, there's something about this stalk right here that you can do too. Okay? Something else that you can do is you can scrape it. You can scrape it. And so you can get little fuzzies like that right there on it. Okay? I get a bunch of them, I get a handful of them, and I'll put them down inside here. And see, those are very good, real dry and light and fluffy. You can get a ton of them. But as far as them taking a spark off a ferro rod, sometimes they will once, sometimes they will a bunch of times. Okay, so I think I'm getting about ready. I'm gonna dump all this in there. Okay, all right. Hang this over. Alright, now time for the cattail. Okay. I'm going to pull off some of this fuzzy cattail. I'm going to fuzz it up right in here. Okay. There's a bunch of it. And then I'll just sprinkle a little bit up on the top. There's a bunch of it. And then I'll just sprinkle a little bit up on the top. Okay? Alright, now. Now what I'm going to do, these little ferro rods, they come with a piece of metal for a striker, and they are not good. They'll kind of work, but if you sure enough want some sparks, this is what you need right here. Okay, now I'm gonna try something right here. When you got a fire up this high like this right here, sometimes what you can do, let me move this. Sometimes you can balance this on your boot and get a good strike. Okay, so let's see if I can do this now. This is going to be my one strike fire. No sparks. No sparks. Whoa, there you go. And now you want to start adding this. Well, let's see. I don't even have to add anything. This is going to be my one strike fire. No sparks. No sparks. Whoa, there you go. And now you want to start adding this. Well, let's see. I don't even have to add anything. Woo! Yeah, you do. No, yeah, I do. Well, let's see. I don't even have to add anything.
Oh, now you do.
No, yeah, I do. Well, that was... All right, Nick, is that legal?
I'm not sure. A bonfire may happen from this.
All right, Nick. Well, I'd say that was pretty legal right there because I didn't have any sparks the first time around. You know what? So see, now what you can do is once you got that thing going right there, you know you're pretty much got it. You got a good flame, and you can put this kind of stuff right here on it to make sure that you're going to keep it going. And then whenever you feel pretty sure about it going, then you can take your water bottle, hang it over the fire right there. Okay? See, then you can just start putting all the rest of this stuff on there. Oh, I'd say that's pretty much Tinder 101. And see, we're not right next to a real rocky creek, so it's not going to hurt any. I don't think we're going to worry about catching anything on fire. Isn't that neat?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's get this water to boiling up. And then we'll make us some pine needle tea. And see if it starts going out again, I got plenty of stuff on here that I can get it back going. I went and got some of these vines too, because these vines will work pretty good. See, a little bit of oxygen and it'll get all that going back. Because I had quite a bit of cattail in there. Alright, cut that off and we'll nurse this fire into a roaring inferno.
Love to see that.
Oh, it'll happen. Alright, now I had the flames up pretty high a little while ago, so I had to raise it up. I'll show you right here real quick how easy it was. Okay? Now the way this thing is you can either pull this line to pull it up, or you can just lower the line down and it'll lower it right on down into the fire right there. And then you just take it and tuck it in. Okay? No big deal. Alright, well that's boiling up. Let me show you something right over here real quick. I don't think I've ever showed you, and I don't know if anybody else has ever showed it before. But what's called a I hate to even say it, but you know, Georgia is pretty much home to the pine tree. They're everywhere. Tennessee loblolly pine, all the shortleaf pine, longleaf pine. Well, anyway, what's called a traditional pine tea cup is a tall, narrow cup. Okay, I've heard about it for years, but I've never heard anybody mention it on YouTube. But this is a more modern version of it because this is made out of aluminum. I don't know what the older ones were made out of. But the idea is with the long pine needles, see, if you bend them, bending them doesn't work as good. But if you've got a long cup, you have more surface area. And if you bend them, you compact them more. And if you bend them, it makes it hard to get them out. But basically what you can do is see you got all of them in there in a tall cup. And another thing too, everybody likes to wear their paracord survival bracelets and necklaces, and they'll wrap them around their machete and make canteen things and stuff. That's a great way of storing paracord for if you need it. Well, another thing you can do is you can wrap your cup. If you've got like an aluminum cup, you can wrap it in cordage, and not only is that your spare emergency cordage, but it also makes a good insulator. Okay, so now that's boiling up right there, and we'll wait and get it good and hot. And another thing about pine needle tea is you don't necessarily want the water boiling. You want it just to the point of boiling. Okay, that's what I've always been told, so that's what I've always done. If you make pine needle tea with the water literally boiling, it'll be more bitter. Okay, so we're gonna keep an eye on that water now, see what happens. Alright, that water's just starting to bubble up, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take care of my tags. Okay, now I was tagged by No BS Survival. Okay, one spark fire, all natural tenders. Try to do it in one spark, and if you can't, no big deal. Okay, this ain't no big competition. It's just to try to help you to judge your skills and see if you need to work on them, or see if you need to change your choice of tenders. Okay, and there's a lot of different varieties of tenders, and a lot of the ones that I showed you, they'll take a spark from a ferro rod, but as far as I'm concerned, nothing will take the first spark like cattail plug. Okay, now my first tag is going to Alan H60. Okay, good friend of mine. And alright, another one, my second tag is going to a young man, Brave the Wilds. Okay, very smart guy for his age. Okay, and then another one is a guy that's been around for a long time, bushcraftmyway. Okay, alright, you guys are tagged. See if you can do this. You know, if you want to, if you can't, it ain't that big of a deal, but y'all three, I'd really like to see what y'all can do with this. So anyway, okay, I think this water's hot enough because I can see the steam coming off of it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I pour up with this thing. Now normally, if you just set this in the fire, this thing right here is for lifting it out, but you can also use it for pouring it up too. All right, set that on a level surface. Grab your gloves. I hear that water whistling. All right, gonna need a branch. Now what you do, let's see if I can do this. All right, you hold it like that right there. I hope that was you moving around.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you lean this, you just take this like this right here, okay? And then you pour the water in. Man, there's all kinds of stuff moving around. Alright, we got a little bit of water left. If you got that other cup, we can make something else. But there it is right there. You can see right here. That cordage is a perfect insulator. So I'm just going to let that right there sit. Can you see smoke coming off of it? Kinda.
Not really.
Oh man, that's some hot water. It's a good thing it wasn't boiling. Alright, well that's my video for the one spark fire. Good luck, you guys. I hope you learned something about your skills and about the ferro rod and about tinder, because it's a pretty cool idea, because I personally have fought with ferro rods 10, 15, 20 strikes fighting with it, and I realize that, you know, if you pay more attention to your tinder, you just one strike will get it. So all right, till next time.